What's up guys? In today's video I'm gonna cover the secret fairy dust to local homeowner attraction, which is the DOCAR framework. So when I look at the majority of the real estate agents out there, there's one big widespread problem out there. That is what we call the transactional marketing. Now, transactional marketing means that most of the realtors out there are brainwashed into thinking in a specific lane. And if you really want to have an edge in this industry right now over all the competitive realtors in your local market, you cannot think the same ways as all the other people do as well, right? Because if you do, you're not going to really be any different from anyone else. Now, this means that you can no longer just think about lead generation, because generating leads is the easiest thing you will ever do in the current marketplace. Either seller leads, buyer leads, we can get you pretty much as you want. This also means that you don't want to use any more automated content. You don't want to use any more automated drip campaigns. No more spammy messages like call me right now, give me a message right now is the time to sell. Anything like this. Nothing else that really makes the homeowners want to run away from you in terror. So, and unfortunately, again, this is what we've been experiencing during the last 2 years, where the marketplace has shifted, ad costs have risen up, but most realtors are still in this mindset where they really have this transactional type of a marketing mindset. The problem is, if somebody does not know who you are, what you do, what you value, the solution you have, social proof, vision you have for their life, objections haven't been handled, anything like this, you can generate leads, but they will never send you a message. They will never convert into listings and actual clients. And if they do, it's going to be at a very expensive rate. You're not going to be profitable with that process, or very, very little profit. So if you want to really scale up your margins in your marketing, so when you spend money on your ads, you really get a lot of money back. If you really want to get a lot of listing appointments instead of just a few here and there, and if you want to have a lot of listings and a lot of clients and obviously make a lot more money, this is what you want to pay attention to. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the DOCAR framework. These are going to be the 5-level online marketing systems we've built up. And here you're going to have all the necessary psychological influences you really need to have in your marketing in 2021 and moving forward. All the way back from social media to emails to ads and even traditional marketing if you're still doing that. So if you really want to actually turn local homeowners into actual listings, get them to reach out to you, well, you're in the right place. So let's get back right into actually 2025. So actually, before we started working with realtors, we were working actually with personal brands, we worked with CEOs, and we worked with other industries before we went into real estate fully. And close to 2 to 3 years, we only work with personal brands, CEOs, in other industries. And what we did here is that in other industries, quite often, in online marketing, let's say you look into things like selling these online programs or anything like this, quite often the marketplace is very, very advanced, meaning that there's AI, there's different kind of marketing strategies for copywriting, email automations, and people really pay attention to even slight differences in the funnel. I'm talking about these 0.1% differences, because there's thousands of people going through these processes, and it's very, very competitive place where there are people who have been in the industry for 20 years, have spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on their advertising, and you can tell that it is a very, very competitive marketplace. So we kind of started adapting to that. And obviously we have to learn these skills to be very successful in that niche as well. Now, from here, a couple years ago, I remember I was on LinkedIn, and then I made a post about marketing, and I remember a realtor reached out to me, and then we hopped on a call. I talked with him a little bit, and then I realized, in real estate, each client you generate is about $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. And generating those clients is extremely cheap, meaning that you can literally get listings without paying anything for them, but you can make massive profit by selling those houses. So we started working with realtors, and we did encounter quite a lot of incompetency, you could say, in their marketing processes. And there's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing to be judged about it. But the simple truth is that the real estate marketing, what we noticed, is not as nearly competitive or nearly advanced as all the other marketplaces out there, or are actually the specific marketplaces out there that are a lot more competitive. So obviously this was great news for us, right? Because we were in a very competitive marketplace. Now we took these same strategies, changed them around a little bit, applied it specifically to real estate, and now, as you already know, we had a lot of success with the clients we started to work with. One of our clients we started to work with had moved from a very small city, so literally we're talking about 100,000 people or less. He moved to a city with over 1 million people in it. And so it's a big like metropolitan area, you could say. And what happened is that, he just started out as an agent as well. So he was just moved, new agent, knew nobody, and had no sphere, no database, no experience about real estate selling houses. And he actually became one of the most well-known real estate agents in his specific market area in less than a year. So, and he was generating a lot of business, specifically from social media, right? So people were reaching out to him, and he generated a lot of listing appointments from his personal brand. And he got featured into, university papers and so on forth. I'm not going to go too deep into that right now. Now, right now, if you go back into this moment, we simulated, say, 2 to 3 years from here, from there. Now, right now, we've helped over 100 agents with this process, and we really implement marketing that in a modern way, and really that in a marketing that actually works, that actually brings you customers in a cost-effective way. Without you having to use gimmicky widgets, without you having to use like scammy sales tactics or anything like that. And the DOCAR framework we have here is really going to contain these 80-20 principles. So obviously there's a lot more into this. We cover, up to 25 cognitive biases in the actual program that we have. But the DOCAR framework will give you a pretty good idea in terms of what it looks like. So let's dive right into it. So when it comes down to this type of marketing, it's think about it a little bit like chemistry, meaning that if you want to make water, you combine 2 hydrogen atoms and you put it into an oxygen atom and then you get water, right? Simple as that. So if you want to get listing appointments from online marketing, it's the same exact thing. So it has to be specific elements in place. When you have them, you're going to create listings, you're going to create listing appointments. So first piece of the process, I mentioned the DOCAR framework is desire. So D stands for desire. So this is going to be a pretty basic psychological evolutionary principle, meaning that the primary subconscious driver of all of your behavior is either pain or either pleasure when it comes down to making decisions. Meaning that first of all, you would look at the pain, how much it's gonna cost, how much it's gonna feel inside of you in terms of the loss you experience when you do something in terms of your decision. And then you have the pleasure, which is you feel the upside, you feel the benefits of sort of that situation. So what that means for you as a realtor, now, what do you want to create with your marketing is that, as we discussed, most realtors only do the lead gen. They only run the lead generation ads, and they only call the leads and try to convert them, right? Well, with you specifically, if you want to increase your conversion rates, if you want to scale up higher, if you want to get more listings, what you want to focus in is certainly what we call loss bias. So loss bias means that people are going to be more inclined to make their decisions based on losses, not actually rewards. And based on psychological research and scientific research, this loss bias can be even up to 10 times higher compared to the reward bias. So people are really loss aversion based, and so they really value a lot more like not losing instead of winning more. So what you want to do here is you want to demonstrate all the possible pitfalls people will have and negative implications. So again, this is very counterintuitive, right? Because as a realtor, you're probably always thinking about the reward. You always want to say, well, now is the time to sell. Now is the best market. Now is the best rates. But actually, you want to demonstrate a lot more of those negative things. And it might feel a little counterintuitive, but this is what people really gonna respond to, where you want to show with them what it's like, what happens with the bad agents, what's gonna happen if you work with amateur agent, if they make a mistake, what's going to happen if you sell the house yourself and you're going to make a mistake. And you want to do this that in a way where you don't really expect homeowners to know these things, because they're not selling houses out there every day. They don't necessarily know this information, but you hear stories every day, and you want to bring those to them and show them, make it super apparent that why it's obvious for them to work with you specifically and work with a real estate agent. Now, in addition to this, we have also the reward bias. So you do have the loss aversion, but then you also have the reward. And the way you want to do this is you first want to show the loss, and then you want to show the reward. So don't just go out there and start showing the reward right away, because that's going to have a very small impact. So once you cover the loss, you want to now start sharing the reward. So with the reward, you want to demonstrate very direct, very specific, and very proven financial convenience and safety benefits of working with you. So you want to show it clearly. If you work with me, you're going to make $50,000 more. If you work with me, you're going to sell your house in an easier, safer way. And you want to demonstrate that very, very clearly, and not just say that, because just saying it's not enough. You got to actually prove it, show the people, show the data, show the people who are working with you. And you want to back it up with social proof. Nobody's going to believe you. Just going to say, well, real estate agent is the best thing ever. You got to back it up, show the client stories, show the listed houses you've sold, all these different things. The stories you have about who you work with, what's their situation, what their beliefs were, how you guys work together, what was the outcome of all of those different things. So again, they have what we call the bullshit meter. If you're just going to say to them, well, hiring a real estate agent is the best thing ever, they're not going to believe it. You got to show the proof, show the data. Like there was a movie where they said, show me the money, show me the money. Well, in a similar way, you want to show them the data in your sales process. So first piece of the process is the desire marketing. Now, once we cover the desire marketing, we have the objection marketing. Now, with objection marketing, as we discussed already, most realtors, they only have the lead generation. They only have the little postcard, right? But they don't actually realize that homeowners will have a lot of objections to working with you. And these objections are not necessarily things where, they're wanting to be bad, or not necessarily things where somebody is trying to save money all the time and doesn't want to put into real estate agent. It has nothing to do with necessarily the person, but rather it has to do with just the beliefs that they have. So just by default, let's say you think about a topic, you might have certain beliefs around that topic. But then at one point in time, you might have experienced where you noticed, you heard a story, you realized something, and then you're like, wow, and then your perspective changed around that completely. Well, in a similar way with objection marketing, our goal is to create epiphanies in the homeowner's mind from beliefs that, might be harmful to working with you. So those beliefs might be things like, well, if it's a low inventory, it means that I'm going to be homeless if I sell my house. So if they have that belief, they're not going to sell their houses with you because they think they're going to be homeless, right? It doesn't matter. You can show them it's the best time to sell your house. You're going to give them 1% commission, sell their house for free. They're not going to sell it because they believe they're going to be homeless because it's a low inventory situation and they think that it's a good time to wait. Well, obviously with this, you can again change that by telling a story where you had a similar customer, help them, and also share them alternatives, to solve that problem and make them believe that I'm going to sell my house, going to get the top dollar, and I'm also going to find a new home, and in between, maybe I can do this and this deal, right? Now, in addition to this, we also have the FISBOs. So what I mean by FISBOs is that these are people who they think that they can sell the house themselves without a real estate agent. Well, if they believe they can sell the house themselves without a real estate agent, do you think they're going to pay you $15,000, $30,000 to sell their house? No, you're going to have the best statistics ever. You're going to have the best article ever about the curb appeal, but they're going to just use it. They're going to sell the house themselves. So again, it's very important for us to address that, share stories, share the data, and again, change it around from FISBO into actual listing, a person who believes that working with a realtor is the best possible thing. Now, in addition to this, there's a lot of different objections. We cover all this in the program. I'm not going to go all the way back because, we have a limited time here in the video. But another one is just to have beliefs. Let's say I have a cousin, he's a real estate agent. Well, I should probably work with him, give them the commission, right? And if they have that belief, they're not going to work with you even though you have the best marketing, you might have the best ads, best property valuation, best everything, but at the end of the day, if they have that belief, they're going to work with their cousins. So it's very important for you to also address these objections, change them around, and create an optimal situation for you with your marketing processes at scale repeatedly over and over again. So with this is what we call the objection marketing. There's a lot of different strategies for how to go about changing these beliefs. But I'm not going to go too deep into those right now. I'm not going to go too deep into the specifics of that process, but you kind of got a good sense of that. Now, then we have the C, so the DOCAR, and then we have the C. Now, C stands for culture marketing. And what I mean by that is that when people see your marketing, when people see your ads, when people see your emails, quite often they're going to start envisioning what it's going to be like to work with you. They might see your ads, they might see your posts, they might see different marketing materials from you, and subconsciously they're going to position themselves into that picture with you. thinking about like what it's going to be to sell a house with you, what's going to be like on the listing appointment, everything else. Well, obviously, when they have that belief, you want to create a positive impression on them. You don't want to have a negative impression. It's a little bit like, let's suppose you want to create an image about who you are. You don't want to necessarily create an image where you are, in dirty clothes, or you don't want to necessarily create an image where you are maybe like sloppy, or maybe like a little bit dumb, or anything like this, right? Because if people see that, they're obviously going to go with the realtor who they perceive as being smart. Somebody's going to help them, who they perceive as going to be sharp, going to be on time, answering their phone calls and everything else. And it's not enough in terms of our culture just to say these things. You can't just put out a post and say, well, I'm going to answer your calls every single time. I'm the hardworking agent. You actually have to demonstrate this again with your content. It's a very, very small nuanced little thing where with your pictures you want them to have being sharp, you want them to have being in a good environment, you want them to be demonstrating you in a way that's going to be positive for those local homeowners. And all these different things are little small details, but they are going to over time build up a certain level of culture around what it's like to work with you, what standards you have, and essentially what kind of way or how you work with your clients. And again, these are very small details, but you can imagine two realtors. One realtor has, sloppy images, they have political posts, they have like dirty clothes or a picture of them like partying or things like that. And, it's like very, very sloppy and very, very like, or maybe even automated content, things like this. You might have that kind of realtor and they're like, well, it doesn't matter. This is my personal profile, right? But the client might actually go to their profiles, which actually quite often what happens, because social media is like a business card. They go to their profiles, they see their posts, they're going to create that image. What do you think is going to happen, right? They're out of the game. They're lost the listing. And then they see another realtor who's sharp. They see them selling houses. They see the client stories. Obviously, they're going to go with this realtor right here. So again, cultural marketing, extremely important. Very, very important piece of your marketing processes. We call this the association bias. We can look it up on Wikipedia if you want. Read up association bias, and essentially all of our kind of like perceptions that we see create associations to certain things. So again, well, if you want to have $1 million listings, you probably want to associate yourself to those things. Well, this is what companies like Coca-Cola do. You see Apple doing this. They associate the simplicity, they associate the athletes, they associate those different things. At the end of the day, does Coca-Cola have anything to do with athletes? Probably not. You probably shouldn't drink Coca-Cola, but they do create the association. So with this is the C piece of the process. Then we also have the A, which stands for the authority marketing. Now, with authority marketing, something to keep in mind is that people are always going to be with the best possible option they perceive to be. Meaning that if they can find a realtor who sold 3,000 houses, been in the business for 30 years, and can do the job very, very well for them, versus they can go with the realtor who's never been in the business, just never sold any houses, and they realize like this realtor can actually give me $50,000 more, this realtor can mess up the whole thing, they're gonna go with this realtor. The problem is, well, you might have those things. You might already been a realtor for 10 years, 30 years, 20 years. Doesn't really matter. You might have been a realtor for a long time, you might have sold all these houses, but let me ask you this. How often do you demonstrate this in your marketing? How often do you show those different things? How often do you demonstrate that to your clients? Not just on your social media, but also in your marketing process, in your email automation, in your omnipresent strategy, in your lead generation funnel. All these different things, if you're not doing them in your marketing process, the client is not going to know that. The client is not going to understand that. The client is not going to realize that. So again, this is massive power, because I know we have clients who, as an example, one of our clients has sold over 3,000 homes. He's been in the business for 30 years. We created an omnipresent strategy post out of this and just skyrocketed his results. So again, authority marketing, you want to position yourself as a trusted advisor. Not a spammy figure, not a salesperson, not a chaser, anything like this. Position yourself as a trusted advisor. Again, that's going to increase your conversions by a lot. So if you don't have the authority piece, there's ways for you to build that up. So there's ways for you to build up specific pieces to your marketing process. There's ways for you to use specific value materials in your marketing. But at the end of the day, authority marketing, you want to have this. And if you already have authority, you want to leverage that because that is an asset for sure. Lastly, we have the relationships marketing. So relationships marketing means that you want to build up relationships, things like liking, factors like trust, factors like relatability with your marketing. Now, the reason why you want to do this, 33% of the listings go based off referrals. So meaning that according to National Association of Realtors, 1 in 3 listings actually go just based off referrals, somebody recommending somebody. What that means for you as a realtor is that, well, if you want to grow your business, you obviously want to have referrals coming from your marketing. You obviously want to get people to like you because according to the statistics, if somebody refers you out, your chances of getting the listings go up massively, right? Well, in a similar way, most realtors only focus on the transactional side of things, meaning the lead generation, meaning just following up or just sending out postcards or things like that. Well, in reality, what you want to do with your marketing is to build up relationships, build up the goodwill, meaning give people value they're going to reciprocate back, build relatability, likability, and trust in addition to lead generation. So once you get the lead, it's also very important for us to build up that relationships up so that at the end of the day, when they're ready to sell their house, they trust you, they like you, and it's a very close situation to a referral, if not even better. Now, for this, there's specific type of content pieces you want to use in your omnipresent strategy and also in your organic social media. Things like personal stories, personal philosophy posts, engagement posts, those types of posts you want to use. But I'm not going to go too deep into that. There's about 13 different post styles you want to use overall, but here's a good idea in terms of that as well. So that's it for this video. So the DOCAR-Framework, just to summarize it for you, it stands for, first of all, desire marketing, objection marketing, culture marketing, authority marketing, and relationships marketing. If you apply these different principles, you are going to absolutely increase your conversion rates, get a lot more listing appointments organically and with your paid methods, and ultimately crush the local competition and get really people to see you as their own #1 real estate agents they want to list their house with. So, hope this video was useful, and I guess as we discussed earlier in the video, we work with over 100 agents right now to help them generate anywhere from 5 to 20 listing appointments per month. So if you are interested in generating more listing appointments, we still have slots open, a couple slots open in the calendar down below. Click on that, you'll be able to go to our calendar and see which slots are available and book a perfect time to speak with us one-on-one with either me or our co-founder Eli here. So if you might find that useful, we're going to personally look at your marketing process. So while we still do these calls personally, so it's not somebody from our team will personally do the call, definitely recommend to hop in on those and get some value out of that as well. So looking forward to speaking with you, and I'll talk to you soon.